This watch stopped at 8:16, and it has never moved since. It sits behind glass now. Museum light falls across its face. The hands are frozen. The second hand rests between the 16 and 17. The minute hand points to the 16. The hour hand leans just past the 8. 8:16, not 8:15, not 8:17. 8:16. The watch belonged to someone. It was worn on a wrist. It felt the warmth of human skin. It moved through days and nights. It marked time the way all watches do. Quietly, faithfully, without pause. Until that morning, the watch is not expensive. It's ordinary, a simple design. A leather strap now stiffened and cracked. A round face with black numerals. No gold, no jewels, no engraving on the back. Nothing to suggest it was special. And yet, people come from all over the world to stand in front of it. They stare at those frozen hands. They read the small placard beside it. Some of them cry. The watch was found in the ruins. That's all anyone knows at first. The ruins, a place where buildings once stood, where streets once carried the sound of footsteps and voices and life, where morning came the way it always did. Until August 6, 1945. The watch was in Hiroshima. Let that settle for a moment. Hiroshima, a city of over 300,000 people. A place where children walked to school, where merchants opened their shops, where families ate breakfast together, where someone strapped this watch to their wrist and went about their day. At 8:15 in the morning, the sky tore open. A single bomb, one, and in an instant, the temperature at the hypocenter reached several million degrees, hotter than the surface of the sun. A light so bright it burned shadows into stone. A shockwave that moved faster than sound. A wall of fire that consumed everything. The watch stopped 1 minute later. 8:16. Why 1 minute later? That's the question that follows you. The bomb detonated at 8:15. The flash came first, then the heat, then the blast wave. The city began to disappear in seconds. Buildings collapsed, metal melted, wood ignited. Human bodies turned to ash before they could fall. But this watch kept ticking for 60 more seconds, through the heat that vaporized concrete, through the pressure that shattered steel, through the firestorm that consumed miles and moments. Tick, 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 until 8:16, and then it stopped. No one knows whose wrist it was on. The watch was found in the debris weeks later, just one object among millions: bent metal, shattered glass, fragments of lives that would never be pieced back together. Someone picked it up. Someone noticed the time. Someone understood what it meant. This was the moment. This was when everything ended. Not 8:15 when the bomb exploded, but 8:16 when the last mechanical heartbeat of someone's ordinary morning finally gave out. Think about that person for a moment. They woke up that morning. Maybe they were running late. Maybe they checked this watch and hurried to finish breakfast. Maybe they kissed someone goodbye. Maybe they stepped outside and felt the warmth of the sun. Maybe they looked at this watch one last time. 8:14. One more minute. They had one more minute of being alive in a world that made sense. One more minute of not knowing. One more minute of morning routines and small worries and plans for the evening. At 8:15, the bomb detonated 600 meters above the city. They might have seen the flash, a light brighter than anything imaginable. For a fraction of a second, they might have seen it, or maybe they didn't. Maybe it was too fast. Maybe the light was the last thing their eyes ever registered, but their brain never had time to process it, and their watch kept ticking. One more time. 8:16. The watch face is cracked now. The glass spider webbed across the numbers. The hands are slightly bent. The metal casing is tarnished, darkened by heat and time. The leather strap is brittle, the color faded to a dull brown. It looks old. It looks broken. It looks like what it is, a relic, but it's more than that. When you stand in front of this watch, you're not looking at metal and glass. You're looking at 1 minute. 60 seconds, the space between the bomb and the silence. The city didn't die instantly. That's the part that stays with you. Instant death is almost a mercy. But Hiroshima didn't get that. The bomb detonated in the air. The flash came first, then the heat, then the blast. Some people were vaporized. Their bodies turned to shadow on the walls behind them, nothing left but an outline, a stain, proof they existed, but others weren't at the hypocenter. They were further away, far enough to survive the initial blast, far enough to live through those first seconds, far enough to feel it. The heat that melted their skin, the blast that threw them through the air, the fire that chased them through streets that no longer existed, the radiation that seeped into their bones and blood and would kill them days or weeks or months later, and their watches kept ticking. For some of them at least, for a minute, for an hour, for a day. This one stopped at 8:16. The museum where it sits now is quiet. People speak in whispers. The walls are filled with objects like this. A child's tricycle, warped and burned. A lunchbox, its contents turned to carbon. A piece of stone with a human shadow burned into it. A girl's dress somehow still intact. Letters that were never delivered. Photographs that survived when the people in them did not. And this watch, always this watch. There's something about a watch that the other objects don't have. A lunchbox is tragic. A tricycle is heartbreaking. But a watch is different because a watch is time itself. And this one stopped. Time stopped. For the person wearing it, time ended at 8:16, their last minute. Their last second, and the watch recorded it. The watch kept that moment. The watch became a witness. It says, this is when, this is exactly when. Historians know a lot about what happened that day. They know the bomb's name. Little boy, they know its yield, 15 kilotons. They know how high it detonated. They know how many people died. Estimates range from 70,000 to 140,000 by the end of 1945. Hundreds of thousands more in the years that followed. They know the science, the chain reaction, the splitting of atoms, the release of energy, the physics of destruction. They know the politics, the war, the decision, the justifications, the debates that continue even now, decades later. But they don't know whose watch this was. Was it a man, a woman, young or old, a worker heading to a factory, a parent walking a child to school, a soldier stationed in the city, a doctor about to begin morning rounds at a hospital? Were they wealthy enough to own a watch in 1945, which meant something? Or was it borrowed, a gift, inherited from a parent or grandparent? Did they wind it every morning? Did they check it constantly? Or did they barely notice it the way we barely notice the things we wear every day? Did they love someone? Were they loved? Did someone wait for them to come home that night? Did anyone survive to remember them? These questions don't have answers. The watch doesn't tell us. The watch only tells us one thing. 8:16. In the weeks after the bomb, survivors wandered through the ruins. The city was unrecognizable. Landmarks were gone, streets had disappeared. The landscape was flat, burned, silent. They searched for family members, for friends, for any sign of the people they loved. Sometimes they found bodies. Sometimes they found nothing. Sometimes they found objects, a watch, a ring, a button. These small things became proof. Proof that someone existed. Proof that they were here. Proof that this was their watch, their time, their ending. Someone picked up this watch. Someone saw 8:16. Someone understood, and someone decided it needed to be kept. Why keep it? Why preserve a broken watch from a moment of horror? Why put it in a museum? Why ask people to look at it? Because forgetting is easy. Numbers are easy. 70,000 dead. 140,000 dead. Those numbers are so large they stop meaning anything. They become abstract. Statistics. History. But a watch is real. You can see it. You can imagine it on a wrist. You can picture someone glancing at it, seeing 8:14 hurrying their steps. You can imagine them alive, and then you can see 8:16. And you know they're gone, one person, one moment, 1 minute that will never come back. That's harder to forget. The watch sits in its case. The museum lights never change. Day and night mean nothing here. People come and go, school groups, tourists, survivors, fewer every year. Descendants who never knew the people who died but carry their names and their grief. They stop in front of the watch. They lean close. They read the placard. They take photos, though photographs of frozen time feel redundant. They stand in silence. Some of them touch the glass, as if contact might somehow bridge the gap, as if their warmth might reach through decades and death and disaster to touch the person who wore this watch. It can't, but they try anyway. There's a story about a woman who survived Hiroshima. She was a girl then, far enough from the hypocenter to live. She wrote about the days after. The silence, she said, that was the worst part. Not the screaming, not the fires, not the bodies, the silence that came after, when everything had burned, when everyone who could scream had either died or lost their voice, when the city was just ash and ruin and smoke, the silence of a place where time had stopped. This watch is part of that silence. It doesn't tick. It doesn't move. It doesn't mark time anymore. It is frozen in 8:16, the way the city was frozen in that moment, the way the shadows on the walls are frozen, the way the memories of survivors are frozen no matter how many years pass. They are still there, still in that moment, still hearing the sound that came after the flash, still feeling the heat, still searching for family in the ruins, still at 8:16. Modern watches don't work this way. They're digital. They reset. They sync to satellites. They don't stop unless the battery dies and then you just replace it. But this watch is mechanical. It runs on springs and gears. It needs to be wound. It needs care. And when it stops forever unless someone repairs it. No one has repaired this watch. No one will, because 8:16 is where it needs to stay. Some objects from Hiroshima have been restored, cleaned, preserved, made presentable for display. But not this watch. The crack in the glass remains. The tarnish on the metal remains. The bent hands remain because this is what the bomb did. This is what an atomic weapon looks like up close, not a mushroom cloud photographed from miles away, not a strategic map with circles and zones, not numbers in a casualty report. This, a broken watch, a stopped moment, a life ended. This is what we made. This is what we used. This is what happened. There are other watches from that day. Some stopped at different times. 8:17, 8:20, 8:25, each one marking how long its wearer survived. Each one a small, terrible clock measuring someone's final minutes. But 8:16 appears again and again. More watches stopped at 8:16 than any other time. 1 minute after the bomb, 1 minute of aftermath, 1 minute of a world trying to continue before it realized it couldn't. If you could ask the person who wore this watch one question, what would it be? Did you see the flash? Did you feel pain? Did you think of your family? Did you understand what was happening? Or would you ask something smaller? What did you have for breakfast? What were you thinking about when you checked the time? Were you happy that morning? Did you know it was your last? The watch can't answer. The watch only knows 8:16, and maybe that's enough. Maybe that's the only answer we need. This is when it ended. This is when life stopped. This is the moment, not approximate, not estimated, not remembered incorrectly. Exactly 8:16. Decades have passed. The survivors are dying. The world has moved on. Hiroshima rebuilt itself. The city is alive again. Modern, beautiful, peaceful, but underneath in museums and memorials in the memories of those who remain, 8:16 is still happening. It never stopped happening. The watch sits behind glass. The light falls across its face. The hands are frozen. The second hand rests between the 16 and 17. The minute hand points to the 16. The hour hand leans just past the 8. 8:16. People stop to look. They take a moment. They think about time. about how fragile it is, about how a single second can be the difference between everything and nothing. They think about the person who wore this watch, the person they'll never know, the person who became a number in a history book, the person who is now just this, a stopped watch. They think about morning, about ordinary mornings, about checking the time and moving through a day that feels like it will last forever, until it doesn't. There's no moral here, no lesson that makes it better, no wisdom that makes the watch tick again. There's only this: it happened, it was real, this watch proves it. Someone existed, someone wore this watch. Someone looked at it and saw 8, 14, 8, 15, maybe even 8, 16 before the hands stopped and the ticking ceased and time became something else, something permanent, something frozen. Something that sits behind glass now in a quiet museum in a city that rose from ash in a world that still doesn't know what to do with the fact that we did this. We stopped the watch. We stopped all the watches. We stopped time itself for 70,000 people, 140,000 people, countless people in a single morning, and the watch is still there, waiting, at 8:16, always at 8:16, forever at 8:16.